Hey everybody, KC here. So in recent weeks, I've had two stories about proposals that were being considered by lawmakers down in Australia. And the first one was about how basically they were going to say that no one under the age of 16 would be allowed to go on a social media site. Basically, they're going to say it's just not allowed. That social media is poisonous to young people who are then subject to things like bullying and body shaming, and it's just a terrible place for young people to be. So they were proposing that nobody under the age of 16 should be allowed to go on a social media site. And the other proposal was one in which basically they would create or enlarge what they call digital duty of care, which would mean that, listen, it would be your responsibility as a social media site to make sure that there are no harmful elements on your site, right? That's your job, your responsibility, and you can be held culpable if in fact those things ended up there. You couldn't have known misinformation or disinformation. You couldn't have places where people would be body shamed or bullied or anything like that. Well, go figure, they actually passed the first one. I don't think they've gotten to the second one yet. But right now in Australia, there is a law that says if you're under 16, you can't go on a social media site. Now, it'll take some time to kick in, and God knows there's going to be lobbying and campaigning against this by the social media sites who are not going to lose that customer base. But I think this is terrific. I think it's the kind of thing we should do in the United States. I think it's the kind of thing we'll never do in the United States because these oligarchs who own these social media sites, well, they don't want to give up their power. And they got a lot of money that they can send in the direction of lawmakers of both parties to make sure it doesn't happen. But Australia, I think they absolutely got it right. And as businesses, we ought to be able, we should want a social media world that is less harmful. We should want a social media world, and when maybe, listen, young people shouldn't be on there just yet. And not just because young people are our customers or future customers, but also because they're our kids. And we should care more than about the dollar that they might bring in terms of being able to sell advertising against them. Anyway, good for Australia. They passed one. I hope they pass the second one. That's what's on my mind. And as always, I want to hear what's on your mind.